Yes,
Sir.
how are you?
Fine, sir.
Fine,
Huh?
sir. You, sir.
Fine, sir. Fine,
Fine, sir.
You are in your hometown, native place, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Take care of yourself, okay?
Okay, sir.
Since for the last two classes I could not able to take since we were busy with the Rave work, okay? Friends, today we will discuss about the Constitution of India. Constitution of India. The root of the term constitution is Latin word constitute, which means to form, to establish, or to compose. In the simplest sense, constitution means a body of or a set of
Harsha, off your mic. Harsha.
ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇದನ್ನ. Okay, in simplest form, constitution means a body of or set of rules and regulations. So in simple words, constitution means it is a body of set of rules and regulations. Okay, constitution in the broad sense, constitution refers to the entire system of the government of a country. It means the collection of rules which establish and regulate the government. That means to say, the constitution means the system of the government which is being ruled by, which is being operated by the government. So which is operating the rules and regulations. Okay. In most countries, the combination of legal and non-legal elements constitute the constitution. There may be both legal and non-legal rules and regulations in the constitution. Then coming to the definition of the constitution, constitution is defined as a collection of legal rules which govern the government of the country and which have been embodied in a document. That means to say, in definition wise, it is the collection of legal rules which govern the government of a country and which have been embodied in a document. That means to say, all the rules and regulations are written in a document which is called the constitution. Coming to the let us see what is the importance of the constitution. What happens if there is no constitution? What happens if there is no constitution? Let me see. Absence of constitution leads to anarchy. Anarchy means if there is no constitution, there is a chaos, lawlessness, disorder. Okay, and sometimes there may be a there is a penalization of the people if there is no constitution. Okay, hence every country, whether democratic or communist, must possess a constitution. Democracy believes in lawful government and legal rights. Democracy, in fact, is constitutional government. In the absence of constitution, the people would be harassed and exploited by unscrupulous, dishonest, and ambitious politicians. What happens if there is no constitution? The people would be harassed and exploited by unscrupulous, dishonest, and ambitious politicians. So everybody and all the citizens will be exploited if there is no constitution. That is the importance of the constitution. Then coming to the preamble of the constitution. So preamble means we can say it a foreword, or in Kannada we can say it is a munnudi. See, if you want to know the worth of the book, before reading any book, we need to read the foreword or munnudi. So
ಪ್ರಸ್ತಾವನೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಸರ್?
ಏನಪ್ಪ?
ಪ್ರಸ್ತಾವನೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಸರ್?
ಏನಪ್ಪ? ಪ್ರಸ್ತಾವನೆ ಅಂತಾರೆ, ಮುನ್ನುಡಿ ಅಂತಾರೆ, ಫೋರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫೋರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಅಂತಾರೆ, ಮುನ್ನುಡಿನೂ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಕೆಲವು ಕಡೆ ಪ್ರಸ್ತಾವನೆ ಅಂತಾರೆ, ನಿಜ. So that is called preamble.
Okay,
so
sir.
Even in constitution also we have preamble. The preamble is very, very beautiful. The Constitution of India begins with a preamble which specifies the nature of the Indian state and the objectives it is committed to secure. Then, so according to K.M. Munsif, describes the preamble as the political horoscope. In horoscope andre jataka antaralla, adu horoscope. So according to Munsif, K.M. Munsif describes the preamble as the political horoscope of the constitution, which lists the basic features of the constitution, its basic philosophy and the nature of Indian state. The preamble is most precious part of the constitution. It is the soul of the constitution. It is a key to open the mind of the makers of the constitution. It is a jewel set in the constitution. It is a proper yardstick with which one can measure the worth of the constitution. That means to say, this is the preamble is the yardstick with which we can measure the worth of the constitution. Please remember, I repeat once again, the preamble reads like this: we, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens. So, see, I explain what's the meaning of it. The preamble reads, we the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into sovereign country. Sovereign means which is not under anybody control. Then socialist, secular. Secular means no biasness to any religion. So neutral to religion is called secular. In ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ ಜಾತ್ಯತೀತತೆ ಅಂತ. ಜಾತ್ಯತೀತತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಧರ್ಮಗಳನ್ನು ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನೋಡೋದು, ಅದು ಜಾತ್ಯತೀತತೆ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಸೆಕ್ಯುಲರ್. ಡೆಮೊಕ್ರಾಟಿಕ್ ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್. ಡೆಮೊಕ್ರಾಟಿಕ್ ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ the people, the representatives have been elected by the common people. That's called democratic republic. And to secure to all its citizens. What to secure? Citizens, for citizens. To secure justice, social, economic, political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. Equality of status and opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity. What do you mean by fraternity? Bhratratva antivalla, treating everybody as brothers and sisters. That's called the fraternity. Okay. Fraternity, assuring the dignity of individual. So whether poor, rich, doing small work, big work. So each human being having a dignity. Okay. Assuring the dignity of individual and the unity and the integrity of the nation. We need to secure unity and integrity of the nation. Okay. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. The Constitution of India came into force on 26th January 1950. So please remember, I repeat, the Constitution of India came into force on 26th January 1950. So it was adopted in 1949. Adopted. So implemented, came into force on 26th January 1950. So that day, we will also sometimes we also call it as a Constitutional Day. So January 26th is called Constitutional Day. Then coming to the, so there are important 18 salient features of Indian Constitution. 18 salient. So important salient means salient features. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೇನು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಲಕ್ಷಣಗಳು ಅಂತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಮುಖ್ಯ ಲಕ್ಷಣಗಳು ಏನಿರಬೇಕು ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಗೆ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ salient features of Indian Constitution are 18. Out of that, the first one is our constitution is the lengthiest constitution in the world. Our constitution is lengthiest. Okay, the Indian Constitution is the lengthiest and the most detailed in the world. It originally consisted of 395 articles and 9 schedules. After several amendments, it consists 450 articles and 12 schedules. So thus, Indian Constitution is the lengthiest constitution in the world. Then coming to second important feature, preamble. The Indian Constitution has a well-drafted preamble. The preamble is an introduction which gives the spirit or philosophy of the Constitution. It gives aims and objectives of the framers of our Constitution. It is an expression of the aspirations of the Indian people. So preamble is the expression of the aspirations of Indian people. Then coming to the third important feature of Indian Constitution is sovereign, democratic, and republic. India is a sovereign state, supreme and free from any control, external or internal. So our Constitution is, our country is not internally or externally influenced. So our country is a independent country. That is why, so it is not under anybody's control. That's why we can call it as a sovereign country. Okay, and it is an independent state. The constitution establishes a democratic system of government. The elected representatives of the people form the government. India is a therefore republic. That means to say people elect the representatives. Inter-representatives elect the rulers or the government. So that is why we can call it as our Indian constitution is a republic, democratic and republic. Okay. Then coming to the fourth important feature is secular state. Secular state means when the state is neutral to religion or faith and doesn't interfere with the individual's religious matters, it is secular state. See, in India, so as you know that India is a country of diversity. So many religions, caste, color, creed, food habits, regions, languages. Okay, so each religion is respected, and there is no superior religion or inferior religion. All religions are equally treated. That is why we can call it as our Indian country is secular country. And fifth important feature of Indian constitution is rigid and flexible constitution. Our Indian constitution is a rigid as well as flexible constitution. The constitution of India combines the rigid and flexible methods of amendment. It is partly rigid and partly flexible as and when required. See, situations are changing. Okay, so when it was formed, situation is different. Today, situation is different. Mindset, thinking, perspective, all are different. So based on the requirement, the constitution can be amended without affecting the main theme of the constitution. That is called rigid as well as flexible constitution. Then coming to the
ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಹಿಂಗ್ ತಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಕಟ್ಟೆ ಹಾಕ್ದಂಗ ಹಾಕಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು
ಹೇಮಂತ್ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ಮೈಕ್.
ಹಾಕ್ತಾನೆ ತಡಿ ಅಂತ
ಹೇಮಂತ್
ಯಾಕಪ್ಪ ಏನೋ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ಗೌರಿಸಿದ್ದ. Okay, then sixth important feature of Indian constitution is fundamental rights. As you know that there are important 6 fundamental rights. Okay, the first one is to protect citizens against arbitrary government. There are 6 fundamental rights: right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, culture and education rights, right to constitutional remedies. So these are the 5 important fundamental rights. These are rights given to citizens to protect citizens against arbitrary government. Okay. Then coming to the 7th fundamental right, property has been abolished. Earlier it was there was a right to property. That was the fundamental right that has been abolished. Okay. And coming to the, now we understood what are the rights of the in the Indian people. So in the contrary, we have fundamental duties also. See, we have been given rights as well as, so we have been assigned certain duties. So let us see what are the fundamental duties. The 42nd Amendment 1976 has incorporated a number of fundamental duties in the Constitution. They are respect to national flag and national anthem. All citizens in India, they should respect national flag as well as national anthem. Second one is uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of the country. Any threat to our sovereignty, unity and integrity, we need to fight against that. So we should not allow others to disintegrate the country. Third fundamental duty is render national service and defend the country. Render national service and defend the country. If there is a threat to country, we should involve in defending the country and rendering national service. That means to say, if there's a hurricane or floods, earthquake, tsunami, natural disasters, so we need to help the other peoples. Okay, so that is the third one. Fourth one, promote brotherhood, dignity of women. See, brotherhood, we need to treat others as brothers. So that is why the unity of the country can be ensured. So promote brotherhood, dignity of women. We respect women, and we should respect and give equal opportunities for the women. So that one is the fourth one. Fifth fundamental duty is protect natural environment, natural resources, water, animals, forests. Okay, so these are the our heritage, rich cultural heritage. We need to protect them. So we need to protect natural environment. And sixth one is preserve our rich heritage. See, we have culture, we have some tradition, rich tradition. So that has to be protected. So we need to protect our rich heritage. And seventh one, safeguard public property and give up violence. Any point of time should not engage involve in violence activities. Through peace, through dialogue, through interaction, we need to solve the problems. We should not resort to violence activities. Safeguard public property. If there is a strike, if there's something happens, you should not. You're not. We are not supposed to. Destroy the public property, like throwing the stones to the buses, disfiguring the statues. So we are not supposed to do that. Safeguard public property and give up the violence. Last one, eighth fundamental duty is value and follow the ideals of national freedom movement. See, many people have laid their life for freeing the India, for getting the India freedom. Many people have sacrificed their life. We need to remember their sacrifice made for emancipation of the country from Britishers' hand. So these are the important eight important fundamental duties. We have been given fundamental rights. In the contrary, we have been assigned certain duties also. We are not supposed to violate these national fundamental duties. Then coming to the eighth important feature of the Indian Constitution, directive principles of state policy. Directive principles of state policy means this is a unique feature of our Constitution. These principles are meant to realize the ideals stated in the preamble, namely social justice, economic and political liberty, equality, and fraternity, both central and state. So to realize these principles, so we have directive principles of state policy. So government must keep these principles in mind while framing laws, policies, and programs. Adequate livelihood, better standard of living, equal wages, free and compulsory education, establishment Panchayat Raj, contribution of international peace, etc. are some of the principles of state policy. That means to say, whichever government comes to the power, they should never forget the certain programs like adequate livelihood. We should ensure livelihood of the people, better standard of the living. We should improve the living standards of the people. Equal wages, men, women, rural, poor, rural, urban, no differentiation. We need to ensure equal wages, free and compulsory education. Each and every citizen, until he gets 14 years age, each student he has to get the education, free education. Then establishment of Panchayat Raj. So as you know that Gandhi principle was, Gandhi believed that if India want to progress, the villages need to be progressed. So that is why the Panchayat Raj system has been introduced at the Gram Panchayat level, at the village level. Okay, and contribution of international peace, etc. are some of the principles. So we need to contribute towards establishment of international peace. So next, coming to ninth important important feature of the Indian Constitution. Ninth one is independent judiciary. Independent judiciary means a single, integrated, unified, independent, and impartial judiciary has been established by the Constitution. See, the central judge may be transferred to state, and state High Court judge may be transferred to Supreme Court. So there is a exchange of judges. So that is why we can call it as in India we have independent judiciary. And 10th important feature is abolition of the untouchability. The Constitution of India has abolished untouchability, which is an evil arising out of the caste system. The untouchability has originated from the caste system. Here we are not supposed to engage in practicing the untouchability. We need to remove eliminate untouchability in our country, which is a social evil and which is the product of caste system. And 10th important feature of the Indian Constitution is backward classes and minorities. See, we need to safeguard the backward classes as well as the minorities. Constitution in Part 16 provides certain special provisions for scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, backward classes, and minorities. Maybe in field of education, the employment, the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe people have been encouraging, and to some extent, backward classes also getting a reservation, and minorities. So minorities they can start their own institutions, and they can have their own prayer timings. Okay, they can have their community halls. So these are the things provided by the government. Then coming to the 12th important feature of the Indian Constitution, languages. Article 343 state that the original official language of in Union shall be Hindi, along with continuance of English. In the 8th schedule, 18 major Indian languages have been recognized. So in India, 18 major Indian languages have been recognized by the Constitution. And 13th important feature of Indian Constitution is single citizenship. India is a union of states. In other words, it single integrated state. It is a single integrated state. There is only one single uniform citizenship for everyone, whether you are staying in the state or you are moving out of the state. So you will be having a single citizenship. The fundamental rights are common to all citizens. That means to say whether you are living in Karnataka or Andhra, so all the rights are equal. Then coming to the 14th important feature of Indian Constitution is federal and unitary system. Federal and unitary system. There are two sets of governments in union and the state, which is termed as federal. See, why we call it as a federal government? We have state government at the state level and we have union government at the central level. That's why our government is called federal government. However, to preserve the unity of the country, certain unitary elements have been incorporated. See, that is why we can call it as a federal as well as the unitary system. To safeguard the country, like certain aspects like the military, defense system is rest with the central government to safeguard the India. Then coming to the 15th important constitution important feature of the Indian Constitution, parliamentary system. Parliamentary system means the Constitution of India establishes parliamentary form of government both at the center and in the states. At the center we have parliament, at the state we have state legislative assembly. Then coming to the 16th important feature of Indian Constitution, emergency provisions. During emergencies, the President of India is vested with special powers. In three types of emergencies, the President is empowered to take steps, namely under the there are three important conditions under which the President of India can take emergency, he can declare emergency. What are the conditions under which the President of India can declare emergency? Number one, national emergency. National emergency, if there is a strikes across the country and not controllable, then national emergency can be imposed. Second option is constitutional emergency. If the constitution is failed, if the rules are not implemented according to the constitution, that is called constitutional breakdown. During constitutional breakdown also, the President of India can impose president rule. And under fourth one is, third important condition is financial emergency. Financial emergency means if there is no money to run the government, if there is no money to pay the salaries of the people, if there is no money for the implementation of the social programs, welfare programs, then the President of India can impose president rule under the Constitution, national emergency, constitutional emergency, and financial emergency. These are the important situations under which the Constitution may be, the government may be, the emergency may be declared. And 17th important feature of Indian Constitution is common all India services. common all India services. There is a provision for common all India services like IAS and IPS, etc. The recruitment and control of these services are vested in the central government. That means to say, the recruitment, postings, transfers, all rest with the central government. That means all civil services, IPS, IAS, these are the selection, then allotment, deputation, all rest with the central government. Okay, then the last important feature of Indian Constitution is the 18th one, local self-government. Local self-government. Democratic decentralization is the form of local self-government. Bodies become necessary in large country like ours. This had also been enjoyed by the directive principles. So that is called Panchayat Raj or municipal government, municipality government in urban. So these are the 18 important features of Indian Constitution. And at the last, there is a study question. There are 5 important questions. You need to, once the notes is given, we have to read the study questions and you have to submit the record. The important 5 study questions are: number 1, define Constitution. You have to define the Constitution. It's a nothing but set of rules and regulations embodied in a document. That's called the definition of the Constitution. The second one is write the preamble of the Constitution. The preamble of the Constitution is, it's a jewel set. It is the key to open the minds of the makers of the Constitution. Okay, so it tells us what are the objectives, aims and objectives of the Constitution. Everything is given in the preamble. And third study question is, what are the fundamental rights and duties? You need to enlist the 6 fundamental rights and the fundamental duty, 8 fundamental duties you have to enlist. So that is third question. And fourth question, what do you mean by directive principles of state policy? So you have to write what the meaning of directive principles of state policy. As you know that to realize the ideals of the preamble, like social justice, okay, fraternity, equality, dignity, there are certain programs enlisted. So those things need to be written. And last question is, list the salient features of Indian Constitution. You have to list all the 18 salient features of the Indian Constitution. Okay. So with this, we come to end of the first chapters. Today we are dealt only 1 chapter. And tomorrow I will deal 2 chapters. Let us deal the 2 chapters tomorrow. Okay. I hope you understood the meaning of the Constitution. If you have any questions, you can raise. You can ask me. If there are no questions, I will wind up the class. So I invite any questions regarding the Constitution. Okay, students, idira?
Yes, sir. Sir,
Yes, sir. It is, sir.
Okay, notes will be distributed later when you come here. Okay, so in this class,
sir.
if you have any 1 or 2 questions, you can ask me. I will clarify. If there is no questions, we'll wind up. Okay. We have class in tomorrow, right? 2 o'clock. Ravisida.
Yes, sir.
Nale class 2 o'clock ideyala?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Nale 1 hour tagontini. Tomorrow I will complete 2 chapters. This is a little bit big chapter. The first chapter is the big chapter. So I took nearly 30 minutes to complete it. Okay. So tomorrow we will deal 2 chapters. Okay.